you lose Zach LaVine, and it's almost like rejuvenated this team, it seems. It's almost given them some life. And to me, this game, the Bulls are playing simplified basketball right now. It's not particularly, in my opinion, compelling because in its complexity. They try to get out and transition quickly. If they have a mismatch, they go for it, and they have guys that can take advantage of mismatches. If not, they kind of just spread you out, pick and roll or dribble, drive, and kick, and just look for that. And Coby White and DeMar DeRozan are obviously the two guys that you're looking to create most off of that. And they've been up for the challenge. 45 minutes from Coby White, 42 from DeMar DeRozan, 41 points from DeRozan, 33 from Coby White. I mean, I was impressed at least with Coby White. I haven't been the biggest Coby White guy, but I've been impressed with how in control and comfortable he's looked in this like elevated usage role.
Yeah, look, this is what he's capable of. This is when he's kind of given the ball and able to go, he can do things like this. I mean, he can flat out score. He's very quick off ball screen, getting to his spots. He's got great range. And so he's a very confident scorer when given the opportunity. His role's a lot different when LaVine's out there and DeRozan's out there and Vucevic even. The ball just funnels through those guys. And it's just harder to find that rhythm if you're a scorer and your touches are a little bit more sporadic or spread out. And that wasn't the case last night. It was his ball, his game, his show. And one thing I could see, and even LaVine, to his credit, because he's over there in street clothes, and when you're in street clothes and the team's winning and you're sitting there, right? Sometimes, man, that's not the greatest feeling in the world, right?
Sure.
But everybody's reaction to Coby White, everything he did positive, the reaction of the bench told me a lot about how they feel about him. Even LaVine, he was jumping up and like they were celebrating on everything that Coby did in this game. And I thought that was telling to me. He's got the support of his team. So when he does get the opportunity, he can go out and do things like this. By the way, one of the oddest stat lines in the history of the NBA took place in this game. So LaVine's out. Dosunmu starts in his spot.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you this now.
Oh, no, I'm just looking at it.
I'm going to read you this, and you tell me
no,
how difficult this is to pull off. He played 26 minutes in this game. That's a lot of run.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stats, I'm sure.
He had exactly 0 field goals, 0 free throws, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 0 turnovers. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Committed 1 foul. So if you look at his stat line all the way across it, there's only numbers in 3 columns. A 6 where he was 0 for 6 from the field, a 2 where he was 0 for 2 from the 3, and then 1 in the foul category. And here's the best part, Adam. He was a +2 in the game.
Yeah.
Look, he can defend. He can really defend. That's his primary role. But I don't know. It stood out to me. When you're going through these box scores the next day, you watch the game even, and like you don't realize what you're even watching sometimes. I just thought that was amazing. He basically didn't stat in 26 minutes, but was a +2 because his defense contributes. So that goes to show you what you're capable of doing.
Yeah, there you go. That is a pretty wild stat line. Another wild stat line in this one was Andre Drummond with 11 offensive rebounds in 14 minutes, which is another thing I think just kind of keep an eye on when you talk about Milwaukee. But 11 offensive rebounds. Some of those were like, tip, 3 or 4 on one possession.
Yeah,
but
he was battling though. I was impressed with his energy and commitment to it. Like he's been one of the best rebounders per minute in NBA history. Andre Drummond. I mean, literally, historically, one of the greatest this league has ever seen in rebounds per minute played. And 14 minutes goes out to get you 16 boards in 14 minutes, man. 11 on the offensive glass. So, ironically, he plays 14 minutes. He has 9 points, 16 rebounds, 11 offensive rebounds. He was a -2 in the game. So what do we know about plus minus after those 2 stat lines? Where one guy doesn't stat at all, it's a +2. One guy can't do more in 14 minutes, and he's a -2. Very interesting. And that's why, by the way, for the record, I'm not a fan of plus minus. I am a fan of plus minus in groups of 5 players. So a team knows what group of guys plays well together over a period of time. And again, it can't be a small sample size. Give me 20 games into the season. I want to know every single collection of 5 players that we have used this year, and I want to know what the plus minuses are of those groups of players. That tells you far more than anything from an individual plus minus, because we use the number all the time. And I know even me as a player, there were times, man, I went out, I did my thing. I shot the ball well. I defended. I didn't turn it over. And I got caught up in a bad shift, man, for whatever reason. We had guys turning the ball over, couldn't guard anybody. We get hit with a 12-0 run. My plus minus sucks, and I did my thing. That's why it's more important to look at groups of 5 players. That's just my opinion.
So was plus minus, because all these stats feel like, the last 15 years or so, they've really come into the zeitgeist. But you're saying back even 90s, early 2000s, you're looking at plus minus?
Yeah, definitely. It was always something that kind of was in the air for sure. You noticed it because it was there. You're like, okay, that's just big number at the end some nights, in a good way or a bad way. And I always hated it. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Even on the night, there were other nights. Look, there's other nights I'd be out there. Let's say I'd play a 10-minute stretch, and look, maybe a team was like really chest to chest with me. They weren't leaving me, so I couldn't get any looks. So I didn't get any shots. Playing hard, but what rebounds weren't coming my way. So you leave the game after 10 minutes. You didn't do a whole lot, but the team played pretty well during that stretch. And now all of a sudden, you're a plus 8, and you didn't feel like you did a whole lot. So I just don't understand the significance we've paid to the plus minus, particularly when it comes to role players. I think it's more important actually with star players than it is role players because of what I just mentioned. I think role players, you have to take that over an extended period of time and how they fit with certain groups of guys. And what is that group able to do? And you go, hey, man, look, it's like night in, night out. When we go to this particular lineup, they're accomplishing really good things. Or this isn't working at all. Like every night for 20 games we've gone to this lineup, they're getting outscored by X amount of points. So I just think it's a good telling indicator when you look at units much more so than individuals.
The last one on the Bulls, Coby White, because he's kind of like this. If you look at the Bulls, like where are they going? What is going? What direction are they going? And we expect a Zach LaVine trade. Are they going to go even deeper and try to get rid of DeRozan and maybe a Caruso? But if we just talk about what do they have, Coby White is the guy that's most interesting. What is his role? He's only 23. He's been in the league 5 years. Feels like he's way older than he is. He's only 23. How valuable is he as this sort of building block? And what is his role on a good team? What would you project forward would be his role on a good team?
No question in my mind, he could be a combo guard on a really good team that's playing for something meaningful as your first guard off the bench. And he can play either role because you can play him off the ball and he can be a scorer. He can be a guy that you give the ball to and can run point for you for an extended period of time too, if you want to do that. There's no question in my mind. I think that the way this guy can fill it up and his instincts for scoring, I think Coby White can be that player on a team that is playing for something significant. There's no doubt in my mind. That's his ceiling.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, but Chicago's in a tough spot. I mean, I always think that to build in the NBA, the more you watch it, it's so hard to do, in part because the order of operations has to be right. I'll use Denver as an example, Legs, because I'm closest to them. Jokic was the first guy in. What a lucky break. They weren't looking for him to be the building block. He just happened to be there first and shine. If Murray or Michael Porter was the first one in, Jokic might have come into the league and with them pigeonholing his game around Michael Porter or around Murray. And of course, that wouldn't have been as smart. Sometimes who your first guy is matters a whole lot. And I think with Coby White, when you say, because I agree with you, I think he's a sixth man, a really good one. But he's sort of the first building block of whatever iteration they're about to enter. And you can't build around a sixth man. That's not how you build a roster. So to me, the order of operations matters a lot for how you construct the team. And a lot of that's just dumb luck.
We all silly like the mayor.